Segitan. Billy Vazni.
A lot of people online called this the cringe scene, the incompetent king who can't speak his own ancestral language, and the sharp little brother who publicly embarrasses him. Most viewers laughed it off and moved on. But that's a misunderstanding of what's happening. This isn't just Aegon making a fool of himself. This is a room quietly stripping him of his authority while he's still sitting in the chair. The power shift starts the second he starts speaking. Harrenhal fell, he's humiliated, and he wants someone to blame.
I told you we should have sent our dragons, and now look what's happened. Daemon, of all people, has taken Harrenhal. I give you a job, and now you just sit there. It's your fucking castle!
He yells, deflects, and demands a punishment. To Aegon, that is what leadership looks like. You just shout at people until the problem feels handled. He spent his youth watching his father rule from across the room and assumed a king's only job is handing down angry orders. So when Larys Strong calmly explains why losing Harrenhal doesn't actually matter...
That castle is more crippled than I am, Your Grace. It's like to drive Daemon to madness as he attempts to make use of it, which is beyond his faculties. It's also penniless, as I happily control all of its gold. So, as Harrenhal saps Daemon's resolve, the false queen remains trapped on that island, and Sir Criston continues felling castles in the Crown Land.
Aegon is left with absolutely nothing to say. Daemon just captured a massive ruin that will drain his resources and drive him mad. Larys is looking at the entire board. The enemy queen is trapped on her island, and Criston Cole is systematically taking out smaller castles. Aegon is the only person in the room who can't see the bigger picture. He's entirely fixated on the one toy he lost, while everyone else is quietly winning the war.
I need to be informed of these things. If I am to make informed rulings, I will not be made to look a fool in front of my allies and enemies.
Harrenhal must wait.
He isn't actually asking for real power here. He's pleading to be kept in the loop just so he doesn't look incompetent. He can feel his grip slipping. He's not demanding that they follow his lead. He's practically begging them to pretend he's the one in charge. He never wanted the crown in the first place, and deep down, he doesn't think he's capable of wearing it. When that insecurity gets exposed, he gets loud, desperate to cover up a vulnerability he's terrified the whole room can see. But Aemond is different.
I will not be made to look a fool in front of my allies and enemies.
Harrenhal must wait. Sir Criston is marching on Rook's Rest.
He cuts the king off mid-sentence, and nobody around the table even flinches. That's the first real crack in the facade. A king gets openly interrupted, and the advisors just move on with the conversation like it's completely normal.
Rook, a pathetic prize. I gave no such
The castle
command.
is small.
He still genuinely believes that every military move requires his rubber stamp. He never learned that a war moves too fast to wait on the throne. The conflict runs whether he speaks or not, and right now, it's running completely without him.
Weakly defended, and Lord Staunton sits on Rhaenyra's council. After Cole smashes it, we'll have Dragonstone effectively cut off by land. This war will not be won with dragons alone, but with dragons flying behind armies of men.
It's a brilliant plan. A competent ruler would recognize the strategy and approve it. But Aemond is thinking about the macro war, while Aegon is still throwing a tantrum over a castle he lost. He reacts exactly like a child whose toy was taken away.
No. Have him turn about. I want Harrenhal back.
He can't offer a better strategic counter-argument. He just wants his thing back. And then comes the line that exposes the entire dynamic.
How do you know this?
He sent word to me.
King's hand sent the raven to Aemond, not to the king's younger brother.
To you?
His voice completely drops on those two words. He's not furious, he's deeply hurt. He isn't asking why they bypassed his authority. He's asking why nobody in his circle thought he was even worth telling. He already suspected they didn't respect him. He just had to hear it confirmed out loud.
The two of you have been plotting.
Desperate, he reaches for the heaviest word he can find to turn their strategy into a crime: plotting. He just accused his own brother and his hand with treason at his own council table. When a real king uses that word, the room goes cold and guards move toward their swords. Here, absolutely nothing happens, because Aemond doesn't even bother defending himself against the charge. He does something far more insulting.
Ako suti punto uwi vestro con avisuti libas. Audli non gieri, Jumbi.
Aegon just threw a massive accusation at him, and Aemond responds in a tongue his brother can't naturally follow. He takes the argument to a place Aegon can't reach and strands him there. The choice of High Valyrian is a deliberate psychological strike. Aegon never properly learned it. The ancient language of House Targaryen was never meant for his mouth, and neither was the crown. Aemond could have humiliated his brother in front of the lords by arguing with him out loud. Instead, he uses a private weapon in a public room. The other lords don't understand the literal words, but they instantly recognize the tone. They see the king standing there in silence, completely outclassed, and the gap between the two brothers becomes undeniable.
Nuke custom vividus. Segiton. Billy Vazni.
You can hear in Aegon's voice that he doesn't even believe his own stuttered response. It's just panicked noise to fill the void. Aemond's reply is a single dismissive sound. That is exactly what the king's authority is worth now. Then, Aemond takes over the room entirely.
Harrenhal is a useful morass. It will keep Daemon well occupied while we strengthen our host and weaken Rhaenyra's support on the mainland. We'll deal with it in the Riverlands in time. But right now, Rook's Rest is an easy target. But a worthy effort.
He is steady, calculated, and possesses a fully formed vision for the war. That is what a ruler sounds like. And it isn't the guy wearing the crown. Aegon literally shrinks back into his chair and shuts up. Aemond turns to him to deliver the final blow.
Don't you agree, my king?
It's not a request for permission. The armies are already marching. He just wants a submissive nod in front of the council to show every man in that room exactly what the king is useful for. And Aegon looks around at his advisors, realizes he has no allies left, and says absolutely nothing. No drawn swords, no dragonfire. A man loses his grip on the crown without anyone ever touching it. It's the exact moment Aegon realizes that while he might hold the title, the throne is entirely empty. When he walks out of that council and back to his own chambers, his mother is already there, waiting for him. His father's books are gone from the shelves. He had them carted out. Viserys read to learn how to rule. Aegon doesn't want the reminder. And it's the same wherever he goes. The knights guarding him carry the white cloak because they're his drinking friends, not because they're any good. They knock into each other just trying to leave the room. The council wasn't a bad day. It's what he is, in every room he's in. She asks, "Do you think simply wearing the crown imbues you with wisdom?" What she means is the crown changed nothing. He thinks the throne made him a king. It didn't. Then she tells him what she actually needs from him. Nothing. What that means is, sit down, stay quiet, stay out of the way. His own mother, telling the king the most useful thing he can do is disappear. So, he does the opposite. Drunk, alone, in the Conqueror's armor, he flies to Rook's Rest to prove the room wrong, to feel like a king once. But the battle was never his. Aemond was already there, the trap already laid. All Aegon's flight changes is one thing. It takes him off the board. He goes down in fire and comes out a cripple, burned, broken, shut away for the rest of the war. And that's the hinge. Not a dead dragon. A king who isn't there anymore. Aemond steps into the empty seat, harder than his brother, just as insecure, and now nobody left who can check him. He won't hear his mother. He won't hear the council. The war loses its brakes. And once the brakes are off, it runs. Dragon against dragon, both sides spending the only thing that kept them safe. Even Alicent gives up and opens the gates of King's Landing. The house starts eating itself from the inside. By the time it ends, the dragons are all but gone. And House Targaryen is too gutted to ever breed them back. A generation later, the last one dies, small and sick. The fire that built the Seven Kingdoms, spent, not by an enemy, by a family that turned on itself. 150 years later, Robert Baratheon takes the throne off a dragonless Targaryen because there's nothing left in the sky to stop him. The Westeros you know, the one with an empty sky, starts in that council room. If you made it this far, thank you. Every comment and every like means more than you think. I'll see you in the next one.